Welcome everyone. Let's hear what Walter has to say about how you helped yourself. A pro se dad that was the best advocate his children ever had. Thanks very much, Walter.
Just to echo what Peter said, there are groups, and Mike Landwehr was saying the same thing, there's networks of people who are managing, we'll say, other issues that affect us, and dads don't do as good a job as they can of networking themselves. I think we all owe it to ourselves and to children to make divorce in Wisconsin better. Divorce in Wisconsin won't be better if we don't take action, and that's one person at a time, one case at a time. Every person in every case is an opportunity to make divorce a little better, at least for their own children, and if not for the people who follow. And I want to applaud the energy that people put in. Phil Larson also, spent time in his slogging through the system himself. I'm here to help make this situation better for you and all of you. How many people are in divorces now or have the opportunity to make their own situations better? One person, two. Okay. It's water over the dam maybe for others, but I'm going to talk about my experience briefly. Full disclosure, I am a lawyer. I'm a patent lawyer. So if you invented something, I could help you with advice, but I'd never had any experience with divorce, never wanted to go anywhere near divorce, and had no interest in divorce. And I didn't have a dislike for it, I just had no thought to go there, and certainly it wasn't anything I wanted to have come close to me. But I feel bad in a sense that if I had taken a look into the situation earlier, I might have been able to even make it better for myself. And I say that because in a country where 50% of marriages or so end in divorce, the time to start pushing for better divorce laws is, when you get engaged. And you hate to say that, it's the last thing you should think of. But by the time the divorce papers are filed, it's too late at one level. I mean, you're dealing with a bad situation. I'm going to share my own experiences in my case. They're my opinions, my experiences. I'll be candid, a little guarded, but candid. I did begin the case with a lawyer. In my case, I was, as two-thirds of men are, I was the respondent. I received the papers and went to a divorce lawyer, number one, and ended up, after a few months, feeling that lawyer was just too busy to handle my case, and moved to lawyer number two. I had an open mind. I thought divorce lawyers are experts. This particular lawyer had 35 years of experience. I'm going to argue with all due respect that in divorce, having that much experience may actually be harmful and not helpful. But I had an open mind in the process. What I saw in the process, though, opened my eyes. And divorce is not good. It's not a good process. And all the fault doesn't go in one place. But it's a very bad process, and it needs to be made better. And as a dad, as a Wisconsin citizen, as a member of the bar, if not divorce law bar, I believe there's a better way. So my goal tonight is going to be to share some insights that maybe if people here, they can make the situation better for themselves and others. I'm the father of twin daughters, age 10, and my daughters mean the world to me. They're wonderful. Children of that age are just, it's a special time where they can learn, and this is important. That there's the teenage years ahead, but before you get there, and I think with daughters, your daughters look up to you. And I'm sorry to say that the way the divorce was handled in my case and the manner of personal attacks, that part of the relationship my daughters had with me was injured and lost to them and me. In my situation, I was planning to take a job out of state, and my wife had told me that she would move there with the children in a few months. And this is in January '09. I went to Sioux Falls, South Dakota to take a job with a a company in a new industry, and my wife said she'd move the children there with me in June. So I'm out there looking for houses, looking for activities for the children. What I didn't realize was that my wife had already retained a divorce attorney before I moved there, and was planning the filing in a time after I was in the job a few months, so I would be attached and hard to leave. And when I found that she had filed for the divorce, I was put in a difficult position as a new employee to a company committed there, but having children 500 miles away. So what I ended up doing was driving 500 miles every Friday and 500 miles every Monday morning to be a dad to my children. And that was a very difficult thing to do for quite a few months, but it's the situation that I ended up being in. My wife's plan was I meet the girls at a truck stop in Albert Lee, Minnesota every other weekend. Now I want to say this, because I'm going to talk about the choices you make. I made a choice about the kind of dad I was going to be. I was not going to be a dad compromised any more than I had to be with my kids. And if you're in a divorce now or after a divorce, you got to make the right choices for yourself. There'll be hardship, but while I ended up putting 52,000 miles on what was then a brand new car, it was the best thing I could have done. And the thought of meeting my daughters in a compromised existence just because that's what my divorcing wife wanted was not acceptable. And I want to come back to that. You make choices along the way. You got to make the right choices. I put together a financial settlement immediately, and this is in 09. Here, I wanted her to have the money. I didn't want to really fight about the money. My divorce lawyer told me that, quote, it's too early to settle, unquote. I didn't realize what that meant until quite a few tens of thousands of dollars of legal bills in the case. And I say that with all respect, but divorce is a business. Divorce is an industry. And you have to understand, people make their living in divorce, and they make their living on legal fees and other fees paid. And I say that with all respect, but it's a fact of life that you need to understand. I proposed, and I was naive, equal placement of the children. I'm going to come back to Wisconsin and I'll have equal placement. What happened? The children.
You can take that if you want.
Let me. They're actually out of friends, so they know they're just.
No, you take it.
No, I actually.
I want to step in. If it's your kids, they come first.
What it was a recording. Actually, it wasn't. It was like I had gotten.
We put kids first. That's the choices he's talking about.
Absolutely, it's true. And, my daughters and I are having a fun time at a friend's, and that's very important. My wife wanted a 12-2 schedule. Again, every other weekend and drop off Sunday. Again, a compromised dad. And that was not the way it was going to happen. Now, my wife was in the house. She had access to everything. And I'm 500 miles away. What I tried to do was negotiate a path for her to move forward productively and a way to be a dad. And what I found to my frustration was that people didn't want to negotiate, they didn't want to work things out, they wanted to litigate. And in my case, the last place I wanted my children was to be at family court services talking to a social worker. Again, with all respect, that's not what I wanted for my children. But in divorce, if one person wants that, that's enough to put you there. I wanted to mediate. I had a sense that my wife was going to say things in an inappropriate and untrue manner to try to make me look bad. And so I had asked my lawyer to try to mediate placement rather than put us right into court. I later found that mediation was waived. Now again, I'm 500 miles away. Things just happened in my